everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to do a ranking of every single cover in Wings of Fire. I'd like to preface this video by saying that I love every single cover in the series, and Joy Ang has done a spectacular job on all of them. There are none that I particularly dislike, so this video will be pretty tough to make. This will not include the graphic novels and winglets, but rather just the main books and Legends ones. Each cover will be analyzed based on its full hardcover version, and a picture will be put up on screen for reference. This video is suggested to me by Bursting Rainbow, so thank you so much for this idea. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. My absolute favorite cover in Wings of Fire is Escaping Peril. I could look at this cover for hours and not be bored. The background is just absolutely stunning, and the grayish blue tones completely make the dragons pop. Queen Scarlet's melted face is just absolutely amazing. I get chills whenever I look at her. There's just so much detail put into this cover, and the more I look at it, the more I find enjoyable. Next on the list is Dragon Slayer. Though I did dislike this book for the most part, I can't deny that it has a spectacular cover. The close-up of General Sandstorm looks awesome, and I love that this is the first detailed look we get at Scavenger. It sets up a tone we never ended up getting, which is a little disappointing, and I would have loved to see a scene like this. But regardless, it looks excellent. My third favorite Wings of Fire cover is Moon Rising. This is a fan favorite cover, and for good reason. Black and green make for such a great color combination, making this one extremely pleasing to look at. This is the first look we actually get at what One Room in Jade Mountain Academy looks like, and it's super great. There's so much detail put into the background, and I could gaze at this for ages. Next up is Talons of Power. Oh boy, do I love this one. Turtle's bright, flashing seeming scales really stand out, and this perfectly depicts the battle we see between Anemone and Turtle towards the end of the book. Speaking of Anemone, I'm so glad we got to see her on a cover. Overall, Talons of Power's cover is pretty good, even though it is a bit plain when it comes to the background. It helps a lot in visualizing the scene in the book, though. Coming up next is The Poison Jungle. Right now I'm entering very difficult territory, as the ones here and below are quite hard to determine where they are on the list. The Poison Jungle's cover is incredibly beautiful, and every time I look at this background, I notice even more detail. You can definitely see the effort Joy Ang put into this cover, and it helps me visualize what the Poison Jungle actually looks like, especially because the book doesn't do a great job of explaining it. Fourth would be The Flames of Hope. I'm honestly really satisfied with this one, because the contrasting color of bright yellow and green fits surprisingly well with the dull gray in the background. Even though I'm personally not a fan of the Sky redesign, I'm glad we got to see him on a cover. Luna's design looks 10 times better than I ever could have imagined. Seriously, this cover is such eye candy. After The Flames of Hope is Winter Turning. Just like many other Wings of Fire covers, Joy Ang does an astounding job at making certain colors mix so well. The purple background just makes winter pop, and it's our first look at the Ice Kingdom. Though I do feel like this cover is an issue with too many vibrant hues when you see the full cover, I still do like it. Next is The Hive Queen. I honestly adore the creative liberty Joy Ang took with this cover. Not only does Cricket look fantastic, but the background is incredible. The hives is something that I wanted to see a lot more in the actual arc itself, but I'm glad we did end up seeing it in all its visual glory on this cover. The way the hive wings live and operate just fascinates me so much, and actually seeing their lifestyle in art form is breathtaking. While I do have some minor complaints with this cover, like the fact that there being too much yellow and orange, it's nearly perfect. Sliding into 7th is The Dangerous Gift. Oh my goodness, Snowfall and Lynx look amazing! The contrasting colors of the different pinks, purples, and whites makes this such a beauty to look at. Just looking at the Ice Kingdom in the background while Snowfall and Lynx gaze at the sunset gives me actual chills. Just take some time to look at this cover in all its glory. Next is The Lost Heir. The detail in the background makes this so pleasing to look at, and Tsunami is just almost exactly how I pictured her in the books. I do have the same complaint with this one that I had with Hive Queen, being that the color blue is way too overpowering, or in that one's case, yellow and orange. It isn't a bad cover at all. Underwater shots always look amazing, especially in Joy Ang's style. After that one is The Hidden Kingdom. It provides us with a great and up-close look at the rainforest, and overall this cover is just fantastic. Glory's design looks better than ever, and it looks like a breath of fresh air compared to some other Wings of Fire covers. I'm super satisfied with this one. In 10th we have Darkness of Dragons. While I mainly dislike this cover for its mistakes, like Keebly missing a snout scar, I'm happy we got a look at what the old Nightwing Kingdom looked like. Keebly standing on the ruins just looks super cool, and I love the fading sunrise in the background. It's just so eerie and really sets the mood for this book. The Dragnet Prophecies cover will always be a classic. Surprisingly, the shade of blue for the water matches super well with Clay's scales. I just love seeing dragons soaring over water like this. My main complaint is that the cover is pretty simple, although this was Joy Ang's first cover for the series, and we can clearly see her improvement. Coming up next on the list is The Dark Secret. Though I'm not a fan of how the lighting looks off in some places, it's hard to ignore the beauty of the sky above Starflight, and how it looks with the scales reflecting off of it. Seeing the Nightwing volcano was such a treat, and although this isn't my favorite cover in the series, I still think it looks pretty neat. In 13th, we have Darkstalker Legends. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the art we have of Darkstalker here. He's so menacing and I love it. I just wish we could have gotten a little more of a detailed background. While I'm glad Joy Ang didn't include something really dramatic and detailed because it would have taken away from the art, a more complex red one would have been a little nicer to see. This one still causes shivers to go down my spine because of its depiction of Darkstalker, though. Last place is a very hard one for me to choose, as I'm not very fond of the final two covers. However, I decided to place The Brightest Night in this spot. I do really enjoy this brief look at the desert and the eerie night sky above Sunny, even if her odd-looking design does take away from it a little. I know she's supposed to look off, but Joy Ang overdid it just a little. I prefer we saw Sunny in the graphic novels because she's not that bright. Plus, there's way too much yellow on this one, making it sometimes hard to look at. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of yellow and black together, and that could be the reason why I didn't enjoy this one in particular. And finally, in last place is The Lost Continent. I don't know what it is, but the bright purples and blues of Blue's design just completely clashes with the sunrise background. It's really bright and hard on the eyes to look at, and I feel like this cover has the potential to be a lot better. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. What did you guys think? Give me your list in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.